Control of the most intelligent, powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only masks the symptoms so that they become dependent on it every day. Charge them so much money for healthcare so that they stay in a constant loop of consuming, medicating, and working. Cause chaos amongst them and blame it on a group of their own so that they form judgmental stereotypes. Turn them against each other in so many ways so that even if they were to connect on one, they would still be divided by another. In control of the most
All right, Shalom. We want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Nabanas, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there unto this life foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. The masterful plan that the elites have conducted, which has been a careful plan for centuries to get them exact people the way they want the people. And not people not knowing that they are people that dictated their whole entire life to their own destruction. All right. They have raised up fools. They've raised up a society of imbeciles, which was all by design. When you go into history, especially American history, you have the Rockefeller educational system that taught the people to be slaves. All right, to be in a slave mentality, and then they turn around because of riches. They kept everybody underneath the poverty line. And what people fail to realize, which they are realizing now, as time is getting closer and closer, and the higher ups about to implement their new world order, people are gonna realize that their lives that they've been living was not lives, period. All right. Just like the pandemic that took place 5-6 years ago. It's like 5-6 years ago. And what people realize, your college education, the fancy job that you claimed that you had, couldn't get you out of a situation. But all this was by design. This is why the scripture says, real quick, Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And that mourning, that state of mourning, has always been remained. This is why a majority of people have to take some sort of substance to escape the reality of this world. The world that we live in was built for the entrapment of the people. Matter of fact, two scriptures. I want to get the one in Luke. Luke 4:6. It says, and the devil said unto him, all this power will I give unto thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whosoever I will give it. So Satan was given a portion. Satan's job was to design this world. And this world was designed to entrap people. So the people that's in position of power, their job is to ensure that entrapment remains. So they come up with a masterful plan because all they're doing is by the guidance of Satan. All right. Real quick, I always bring this out when I talk about this subject, but it's true. Revelation 17 and is it 4 or 5? 6. It says, and I saw the woman, Revelations the 17th chapter, talking about America. All right. The whore that sitteth upon the beast. The beast is a representation of NATO EU. All right. So the woman is the beast. The woman is America. The beast system is NATO/EU. Said I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Who are the saints? The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. When they created this experiment, the first test subjects so happened to be the Lord's chosen people. Right? He's like, oh, these guys are forever victims. Yes, we was created to be the victims. We was created to be, not created, but was put in a position of punishment. And it's like the scripture says, what, Deuteronomy, damn, you know what, let me get it real quick. 28, and I believe it's actually it's 29. It says, and thou shalt grope at the noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. Thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Jumping down to, no, it's not this one right here. What's the precept I'm thinking of? Let me see, Jeremiah, which that was good. That was good. Jeremiah 17:5, I believe, 4. Jeremiah 17:4 says, and thou even thyself shalt be discontinued from thy heritage that I give thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For you shall have, Deuteronomy 28:48. But still saying, and it said, because what? We was going to become a prey unto them. We're a prey, and we serving our enemies in this land, which thou knowest not, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. It was a period of time. So we was put in a position to be um, subjugated to this current present world. All right. It says, and with the blood of the martyrs, which means eyewitnesses of Yahweh, meaning the ones that's here. Test martyrs. What's the other word? A witness in a legal sense. So we are eyewitnesses of the atrocity that's taken place, and we're witnesses and martyrs of Yahweh Shai, of the Spirit. And when I saw her talking about this land, this place, I wonder and great admiration. Because why? Because it was pleasant to the eyes. All right. And this is how this place became the law. I mean, the land that everybody wants to come to. All right. Which was all a setup from the very beginning. The Lord set this place up to things that's pleasing to the eyes. Okay. So that way the Lord could gather up the undesirables and the desirables, which is the elect, and destroy the rest. Okay, this place is a filthy land. So they did this by design, so that way people cannot buck up against it. But eventually, through all these crises, the people are going to be upset. All right, Isaiah 60 and 2. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people." So the darkness is not knowing who they are, where they going, the state of ignorance. They keep the people in the ignorant state. And as they doing this doing the things that they're doing in dark and secret, and it was just a matter of time before they came out in the open. And then by that time, which we are in that time, the people would accept what's happening. It's the whole controversy with this guy, Nero, an email stating that he was blowing Bubba. All right. So he blowing Bubba, but his outward appearance is what? He's a man of men's. Okay? So the rulers of this world are nothing but this Deuteronomy 32 and 32. It says, "For their vine is the vine of Sodom and the fields of Gomorrah." And if you know anything about history, and the Caesars, all those Caesars, they were all funny style, abominable people. All right, which really was just the from Julius to Vespasian, because Rome was taken over by Jake, but that was the culture. All right, so that same culture that you see is being implemented today because of what? Because of the mass confusion. But Esau's root is of Sodom. Revelations 8 and 11, it says, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city." So out of all the cities on the planet Earth, America is that great city. Okay? This is why everybody gravitates to this place. Because this is the land of opportunity. That's what they'll say. Right? And who's the dead bodies? Israelites. They're dead spiritually. So this place hovers the dead. And this dead spirit was by design. All the way everything is happening is by design, which that was the premise of the show anyway. Psalm 64 and 1. It says, Psalm of David, hear my voice in my prayer, preserve my life from the enemy, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, for the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even better words. Like I stated, this has been decades, all right, just the establishment, the hijacking of the United States of America by these Freemasons. Their whole thing was to uh, to keep everybody uneducated, keep them guessing, keep them loose, keep them divided, keep them in a way of hysteria, keep them sidetracked, okay, from what's really happening. So they did this, and the insurrection is what? The overthrow of the actual of what the Lord established, which we could clearly see this is the land that forefront goes against everything that the Lord created, from men and women to the very food that we eat, to the very air that we breathe. Everything about this is them trying to overthrow the order that was established. And this is why they had this secret meeting, because they couldn't do this publicly. They couldn't do this out in the open. Everything had to be done in secret. Because if the people really knew what was going on back then, they would have lost it. They would have overthrown the people that's in position of power. So they had to keep everybody in this dark state of unknown. All right. And Esau is well known for that. It says, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even better words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Who's the perfect? Israel. All right. This is why Israel, which are you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you always racially profile. When things go wrong, you get the blame. When things go right, you know where to be found. This is why they say, oh, blacks commit most of the crimes in the United States, even though there's 13% or 14%, which is the math. The math ain't mathing, right? That's part of the propaganda. This is how they shoot at you until you live up to that standard that they claim to do. This is why they hijack the music. That's what's called hip hop, all right, to influence your mind. And you don't have to believe us. Just see for yourself. Everybody knows that this whole get up setup is to overthrow generations. But the main cause, the main people that it was meant programmed to overthrow was the nation of Israel, the true biblical Israelites, which are Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He said they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Why? Because they're doing it in secret. They're doing it in the dark. All right, they created a welfare system so women could kick the men out the house and the child has no father. Then the woman is defenseless. All right, so she falls. And they created that and encourage it for generations. So when they have their talking point, they always bring up, oh, majority of African Americans don't have a father now, so this is what's causing crime and so forth. Because they knew the studies, they knew exactly what would happen without a strong male figure. All right. But then at the end of it all, they turn around and blame the people that fell into their trap. All right. They set the trap. It's like you set a trap up, you catch the prey, and do you blame the prey for falling into the trap? No. Well, that's what they do. It says they encourage themselves in the evil manner because it's working. All this system that was created, it was working. This going back to the Rockefellers, which was also backed by another family, the Carnegies, right? They funded the educational system to ensure that people was going to be raised up to be workers, not entrepreneurs or any of that sort, to be like them. Okay, this is why you always have a school system that has plenty of tests that have nothing to do with life. That was all by themselves. So after they see the results, they encourage themselves to keep this thing going. The commune of laying snares privately, they say, who shall see them? So everything has been done is done in secret. It's to the point where they could tell you straight up, Like that woman broke down. There's plenty of other things that broke down exactly what they're planning, and people would just shun it because they got you what they want. All right. And so happens what was common back then is no longer common. It's well, when they was talking about the New World Order back in the 60s, I mean, the 70s, the 80s, and so forth, and it was been like a downward spiral where nobody was talking about it no more. No, nobody believed that there was a secret society that was running a cabal that was running the world. But now, where everything is coming to fruition, and Scripture is going to say too, everything's laid out. It says, verse 6, they search out iniquities, which is sin. They accomplish a diligent search. So they know how to get people by their animalistic behavior. This is why sex sells. Okay? You you will get rewarded in this society for being what in the past was the lowest form of society. But you will get um, highly praised for being rapers, robbers, murderers, thieves, okay? All the vile things that you could think of in the past is acceptable to this day because they search out iniquities. They know how the human brain works, okay? It says they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and their heart is deep. And it is deep. Who could tell a lab to create a drug that would ultimately transform men into women? Who thinks like that? What rule in their right mind does that? And encourage it? Oh, then let's put it in the food. Let's put it here. Let's tell this other sect of people that they are people. They are something. That's what they do. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow, which is ICBM nuclear missiles. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. That tongue is those lies. All right. This is why this man is constantly getting exposed. This is like a 24-hour constant exposure. All right. And they think they're doing the right thing by exposing it, but all they're doing is reconfirming what the Lord been established. But this is the way of the wicked of this society. It says, all that see them shall flee away. All men shall fear and shall declare the work of Yahweh, for they shall for they shall wisely consider of his doings. So what the Lord is about to do to this place, to this land, all right, for all the wickedness that has been established, everybody's going to consider that. This is why it needs to happen. The people had to be dumbed down. The people had to be treated like ish, being poisoned and so forth. So the Lord could fulfill the prophecy. All right? Especially what they did unto his people. So Esau is going to be on a world of hurt, and they could design every single thing that they to keep people entrapped, but they themselves are being trapped up to their own destruction. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.